What is up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're going to be doing probably my most highly requested video. So today we're going to be doing a wheelie tutorial, probably my most highly requested video. We're out here in Mexico, of course, and yeah, definitely my most highly requested video on the channel. I seem to get a comment asking for one on like every video, so finally going to do it. I think we have a little bit of light here left today. It gets dark so early now, but I think we should have a good 45 minutes of light to hopefully teach y'all how to wheelie. So first things first, with the KLX300 Dual Sport, it comes with that huge long back rear fender thing. And wheelies and that definitely don't get along too well. So I know before I got my TST fender eliminator, I just kind of hacked the end of that off up to my license plate, and that seemed to work great. But before that, I was doing a wheelie with that long rear fender on, and it actually just snapped up, and like the whole rear wheel kind of just ate it up. So definitely gonna want to watch out for that if you're trying to do wheelies. While you still have that, you're gonna want to get rid of that. And second off, you're gonna want to have yourself a full tank of gas. So I don't know if it's just in the KLX dual sports or other dual sports do this as well, but with the KLX, once you get down to where the gas light's on, and you get the wheel in the air, it starts to sputter a little bit, and it's just kind of sketchy. So I guess it's just not getting enough gas or something of the sorts. But definitely make sure you have a full tank so that doesn't happen. And another basic thing that we're going to want to go over before you start popping it up and everything is the back brake. So you always hear that you want to have your back brake, you want to have your foot over the back brake and covering it at all times when you're doing wheelies. And that's obviously just so to hopefully eliminate you looping out. And looping out would be if you're wheeling and then boom, you go back and loop it. For me, I know it felt pretty weird at first keeping your foot on the back brake or having it there. And you may have to adjust your back brake from where it is stock. It may feel a little bit of weird. You might have to put it either up or down a little bit. And by all means, do that to make whatever feels more comfortable for you. I didn't necessarily do this when I was learning, but I've heard people say, like on the Facebook Z125 Facebook group page and everything, when people are trying to learn, they'll give them the advice of do it 100 times where you pop it up and hit that back brake just to bring it right back down. I've heard people say do that a bunch of times, up to like 100 times, just to get that muscle memory, because when you start doing wheelies, it's not, I've done so many now that it's kind of second nature. But when you're first practicing and first starting, it's definitely not second nature at all. I remember it feeling pretty weird trying to have my foot on that back brake. And also, before we get started, you're going to want to find yourself a nice safe spot to start practicing wheelies. Definitely not any crowded roads or anything like that. I like either a parking lot that's kind of vacant or some back roads, something like that, but definitely don't want to be out there in traffic trying to learn your wheelies. So first things first with the wheelies, you got your clutch up and then you're kind of just power out wheelies. So some bikes may have the ability to just kind of grab a handful of throttle and wheelie, but that's not what we're going to be going over today. That's kind of more so you're just going to be chasing out the wheelie and not really getting it up and keeping it up like you're going to want to. So we're going to be going over the clutch up. So what the clutch up is I kind of have it down to muscle memory where I don't even really think about it too much when I'm doing it. Probably when you're learning, you're going to want to start in second gear. I don't really love doing wheelies in first gear at all. I think second gear is where you're going to want to be able to learn. And by the way, the bike stock will do second gear wheelies all day. Third gear, it will do them here and there, but you're going to have to really work for it, and I'll talk about that later. But I do feel like the mods have helped me with getting it up in third more consistently. But as I said, yeah, going up in stock, second gear, you'll be able to do that all day. So back to the clutch up. So what you're doing when you're clutching up the wheelie is you're kind of just moving, and I pull my clutch in, you know, not fully, like my hand's not fully like that, but I pull it in about 3/4 of the way or so with how I have my clutch set up at least. I pull my clutch in 3/4 of the way, I give it a nice rev, and I kind of pop it out simultaneously with a rev. Now, I'm not fully rev bombing it. I always get these really specific questions like, what RPM are you at when you dump the clutch in and whatnot? And I really don't look at that type of stuff. It's kind of just a feel type thing. You'll feel it out. But to give you a rough estimate, I'd say about 6,000 to 7,000 RPMs when I'm dumping it. And I'm doing second gear wheelies at about anywhere from probably like 15 to 20 miles an hour. And give or take a little bit. And then for third gear wheelies, I'm popping it up anywhere right around 30 miles an hour, give or take a little bit. So the thing with a bike like the KLX300 is doing the simple clutch up isn't really enough to get it done. You're gonna have to use your body weight and really utilize your body weight on the bike and do kind of like a preloading type motion. So what I mean by a preloading or seat mount type motion is you're kind of going forward a little bit first, and it's all in a very quick motion while you're doing the clutch up. So it's just going to take some time to get that muscle memory, and soon enough you really won't even have to think about it. So the preloading motion is pretty much just going kind of forward and then sliding back on your seat while pulling back on the handlebars. But I'll do the clutch up and kind of that preloading motion here for you guys. And by the way, as I was kind of explaining before with the RPMs, I'm not just completely rev bombing it. I'm only getting it to about 600 or 700 RPMs, but it's mostly a feel thing. It's more kind of just a snap of the throttle. So to show you guys kind of what the clutch up and the sliding back looks at the same time, we'll go ahead and do that real quick. So now that I'm making this video, I'm realizing I really do more of kind of a seat bounce type thing than a sliding back and forth. Either kind of will work, but I think kind of bouncing back on this back section of the seat actually works better for bringing it up. But yeah, man, that's the two main things: is the clutch up in unison with the seat bounce to get that front wheel up. And it's gonna take some practice, but I promise that the KLX can do it. But yeah, man, that's about the main thing, is the clutch up in unison with the seat bounce on the bike like a KLX or like a KLX250 or CRF250, whatever it is. You really got to kind of work that power out of it. With that being said about working the power out of it, once you get better at feeling more comfortable with the back brake and everything, another tip that I have is once you start getting good to clutch up and seat bouncing it up and getting that front wheel up, something that's really going to help you with a bike like the KLX is getting that front wheel up and where it needs to be quick. So what I mean by that, and what I mean by getting that front wheel up quick, is so once you get that front wheel up, you can start to feather the back brake and you still have a lot of power left. See, if you just kind of seat bounce it up and you're using all your power to get up, once you're up, you don't really have any power left to play with. So once you get good at popping the wheel up, you're definitely going to want to work on getting the wheel up quick so you still have some power to modulate the throttle with and keep yourself up. And when you're first starting, it's definitely likely that when you are hitting that back brake, you're going to be slamming it down. And just with some seat time and with some practice, you'll start to learn how to feather that back brake so you're not completely slamming down your wheelie. You can just kind of bring it back slightly and then modulate some throttle in with it and keep yourself up. But that all comes with seat time. And another big tip when you're learning wheelies, even I still do this, is a slight hill is very nice for learning wheelies. Going on something like a downhill is pretty hard to learn on, or even wheelie once you have learned. But a flat or a slight uphill is nice to learn it on. And one of the last parts of a wheelie I'll look at my notes and make sure I'm not missing some other stuff here soon. But one of the last parts of the wheelie is when you're bringing it down. So when your front wheel's up and the wheelie's coming down. Two big things to remember there is, may seem simple, but just keep your handlebars straight, because if you come down and your handlebars are turned one way or another, that may not end up too pretty, probably gonna throw you one way. But so keeping your handlebars straight, and also giving it some throttle on it on the way down, so you're not slamming it down. I mean, if you don't, it's not a huge deal with a bike like this with some good front suspension, but definitely a good practice to kind of throttle on the way down, so it's just bringing it down a little bit easier. And I think I got just about everything that I wanted to hit. A few more things. I didn't do this on this bike, but I did do it on my Z125 when I was learning to wheelie. That is, I let some air, some PSI out of the rear tire, and that just kind of keeps it. So if you have too much PSI, you may feel like the tire is kind of throwing you from one side to the other. I never really had that problem, or I never even did that on this bike, but depending on what you have it set at, that may be a factor. But all in all, guys, it really just takes practice and seat time, and you'll start to get it for sure. I looped my Z125, I think, twice so far, and I only looped this once on some gravel road, and I wasn't really going fast at all. I was only going like 10 or 15, and luckily I made it out with like no major damage or anything at all, or really any damage. I think I actually cracked with my TST the clear little housing there, but that's about all. But we're starting to lose our light here, guys, so I think I covered everything I wanted to on my notes. I just checked everything. I think I gave all the tips I wanted to. So if you're new to the channel, be sure to drop a like on this video if it helped you out, and also subscribe. I come out with 3 videos a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so be sure to subscribe for that, and check out the rest of the channel. We do a little bit of everything on the channel. I should have my mods and upgrades part 2 coming out soon. I'm waiting to put on the 13th tooth sprocket, so I have that. That's supposed to help you with wheelies as well, but I haven't even bothered putting that on. But once I do that, I'll make that video. If you want to check the part 1 where we did some smaller mods, I'll link that in the description. Y'all can check that out. But that's about it, guys. In the description, I put the links for the handlebars, the foot pegs, the levers I have on the bike, and it helps out the channel a little bit when you guys go through those Amazon links, so appreciate that. And be sure to follow me on Instagram at Nolan.Rides. If you guys have any questions, throw them in the comments below. But I think I covered everything I wanted to, so good luck with your wheelies, everybody. Stay safe out there, and thank you for watching. I'll see y'all in the next one.